What's up, party people? We're back today with another Ferrari Man 49 banger. All right, it's gonna be a good video. This one is about stop waiting. All right, come on, what are you waiting for? Take that risk, okay? This is something that I see a lot of people struggling with, right? A lot of people go through life and they think, I want this, I want to learn how to do this, I just whatever, and they just never end up doing it. And you ask them why. Sorry, I took a sip of Coca-Cola. Shout out Coca-Cola, sponsor today's video. They gave me $5,000 to mention that. Just kidding. I don't have any sponsors. I have like 30 subs. Anyway, so yeah, I see a lot of people saying that they want to, do something, and they just never, like, I don't know if it's never getting around to it, or they just never feel like it or something. But I want to talk about that because it kind of falls under procrastination, I guess. As a part of it could. But that's definitely a huge issue in, personally, my life, and I've seen a lot with my friends and some other people around me. So I figured I might as well just, sit down and chat about it. So let's get right into it. Okay, so normally I don't really make a script for these videos. I kind of just rant. So I'm just gonna kind of list three reasons why I see people not doing it, and then I guess a counter argument you could say to each reason. But first, I want to start off by saying that, like I said in the intro, right, everybody's got that thing that they want to do. So some people, there's that car sitting in their driveway that they've been wanting to fix for a couple years. Some people have been wanting to play guitar for a couple years. Maybe you want to learn how to day trade. I don't know. All three of those things I do. So it's like, yeah, kind of, But, there's obviously, you got your own thing that comes to your mind. You're like, you know what? I want to do that, right? Maybe it's you want to read your Bible more. Maybe it's you want to go outside more, connect with nature. Maybe you want to study more, just whatever it is, all right? So, why aren't you doing it? So that's probably like an aspect of self-reflection, but if you're having trouble, maybe, I don't know. I would pause the video and think to yourself, there should be something coming to your mind. Why aren't you doing it? So it could be one of a couple reasons, right? And it could be, for me, let's say studying, all right? The thing with studying is that I think about it, right? So I think, oh man, I have to study, part one, I have to learn part two, and I've never even looked at part three. I have to do all of these. And it's like, now I've convinced myself not to study just by thinking about how much work is required. It's just like, in my head, I try to prepare myself for how much work is required, and then I'm like, oh, you know what? Now I don't want to do it. So that's don't do that. That's a big issue. That's something I personally, I don't know if other people do that, but I know something other people struggle with is procrastination. Now, procrastination is an interesting thing, and it's certainly plagued my life and a lot of lives, right? And I wish that there was some sort of simple solution to procrastination other than just doing it. That's really the only way around that, but of course we'll get into that. So, let's say, you got to study, right? And you just procrastinate. You're like, oh, you know what? I've got 5 days to study. If I study now, I'm gonna forget everything by test day. No, the frick you won't. No, you won't. You won't. Don't say that. That's not true. But yeah, stuff like that. Procrastination is that's a big issue. All right, and this is my favorite piece of the puzzle here. This last reason as why I see people not doing things is they're waiting for the perfect shot. Now, this is the one I want to talk about a little bit more here. Waiting for the perfect shot. All right, so I heard a quote the other day, and it goes like this. It's like, a man who waits for a perfect shot dies with a full mag. All right, sometimes you just got to line it up the best you can, pull the trigger, and see what happens. All right. There's I got some, let's say I got some, my uncle, right? My uncle, he wants a Mustang, and he's just waiting for the perfect Mustang, and that's fine if that's what you want to do. But in my head, you don't really want a Mustang. If you really want a Mustang, you'll go get a freaking Mustang and you'll make it work. And that's what I did, right? I wanted a car. I wanted to purchase a vehicle. So what did I do? Went on Facebook Marketplace and I looked around I wanted a bike initially. I looked around for a couple weeks. I didn't really find a good bike, but I saw a good deal on a truck. It was like $600 or $700. Anyway, it was about $600 or $700, and I just messaged the guy, and about 3 hours later, I was looking at the truck, and I was like, you know what, I'll take it, right? It's an imperfect condition? No. Am I prepared at all to deal with this truck? No. This truck, I mean, so it's got the motor out of it, right? The motor is on an engine stand. And, yeah, I don't have a lot of things, all right? My dad was quite upset with this, but I don't have an engine stand. I don't have a cherry picker. I don't have a way to even get this truck home. I don't have any of that, yet I still bought the truck. Why did I buy it? I was like, I'll figure it out later. What am I gonna wait for the perfect truck to pop up on Facebook Marketplace? Nope. I'm gonna find a good one. I'm like, yep, that's good enough, and I'm gonna make it perfect, and that's what the frick I'm gonna do. And the thing about a perfect situation, what do you learn? What do you learn from a perfect situation? Let's say the only thing that really comes to my mind is just motor vehicles. So if you don't really work on cars, it kind of sucks. But let's just say, you want to put a new exhaust on your car. And if you've ever done an exhaust, there's always like a bolt or a hanger or just there's something. But let's just say you jack up the car, you go down there with an impact, you zip off 2 bolts, every hanger just pops off, and you get the exhaust off in 10 minutes. Cool. Nice. Now your exhaust is off. But it's like was that really fun though? Like, did you really, you know what I'm saying? Did you really experience it? Did you really learn anything? Part of the experience is putting a torch on a rusted bolt 3 inches away from your gas tank and getting rust in your eye, right? That's all just part of it. That's like, you need that to have fun with exhaust, okay? All right. Now, I don't really know what else to say about that, just if the shot is there, take it, all right? And deal with the consequences of taking that shot later. Is that good advice? I don't know. I mean, in my opinion, nothing good in life comes without risk, okay? Let's take one of the most beautiful things that life has to offer, and that is love, okay, right? Love is it's a beautiful thing, right? You're intertwining your soul, as a poet or something would say, with another person. And love takes an immense amount of trust. It's a huge risk that, in retrospect, I mean, it's kind of unnecessary, right? You don't need love. Like, there's no requirement for, I mean, maybe mentally, but like, you don't actually like need it. You can go your whole life without love. But the thing is, if you put your heart on your sleeve, as Rod Wave would say, and you go out there and you trust another human being who is, simple by nature and makes mistakes and everything, you trust them with your heart to do whatever they want to do with it, that right there is such a huge risk, but it makes love what it is. Like, that's what makes it so good, is the fact that you're trusting this person with you. Like, your entire soul, mental state, like everything is entrusted within them. And the fact that they're, hopefully not going to go and break it, all right? Okay. Oh, you know what? Oh, man, see, I love just ranting, because I come up with ideas, like, as I'm going. So let's go back to waiting for the perfect shot, and let's talk about day trading. I know, it's either cars, day trading, whatever the frick. So, in day trading, right, I see a setup, okay? Now, a setup, essentially day trade, I might have explained it on here before, I don't know. But you essentially look for, like, a pattern, like an up, down, up, or I don't know, I'm not going to get into it. But you look for a pattern, and you take a trade based off this pattern. Now, you never really get a perfect setup. That's not something that happens. I mean, it's rare. It happens. It's happened before. It's just rare. So, if you only traded off of a perfect shot, sure, you would have, a higher success rate, right? Sure, you'd probably be like, 80-20 on trades. But what's a man with 5 trades, all right, and who won 4? How does he compare to some dude who's taken 25 trades and won, 23 of them, or like 25 of them, right? Yeah, that math might not, whatever, frick you. What's the comparison, right? In the end, the guy with more trades who's taking the risk, maybe he's losing a little bit more, but he's still making way more, just because he's not waiting for the perfect shot. And I think that's like the element of risk, right, that comes in, and it's just, so, yeah. Okay. So, Another thing I want to talk about with this whole element of risk is it's gonna sound ballistic. It's gonna sound very interesting, but don't think too hard, okay? Because it kind of goes back to what I said earlier about, considering all of the work you have to do and convincing yourself not to do it. Don't think too hard, all right? Go outside and be stupid, okay? Just, if you have an idea, I encourage you, just do it. And then figure it the frick out, man. Because that's life, all right? No matter how perfect you plan your life, it's not gonna go perfect. That doesn't do that. That's not the way it works. So if all you ever do in life is wait for the perfect moment, there's no such thing as a perfect moment. That's not gonna happen. You need to put yourself in bad situations to learn how to get out of them. Now that sounds kind of crazy. That does. The only way to learn how to fight is to get in a fight. All right, you can only swim by backflipping in the deep end. To get out of a bad situation, put yourself in a bad situation. And it's like, that sounds like terrible advice. It really does. But that's the reality of life. Life is terrible. That's what it is. Life is what you make of it. So if everything I've ever done has been according to plan, what happens when my life goes off script? What happens? I have nothing. I have no idea what to do because I've never been in a situation like this. So let me tell you something. Let me tell you a little story here. The other day, me and my friend went fishing. It was probably 4 o'clock in the morning because who the frick cares, right? And we're standing there and we're fishing at this terrible spot, right? And I'm like, there's a park like literally 5 feet away from us, and all we have to do is jump this gate. Now the thing about this gate is that it's sitting there with about 5 no trespassing signs plastered all over this gate. And I'm like, we could jump this gate and we could get some good fishing, but there's a chance that we get caught by a cop. You know what we did? Jump the frick out of that gate, dude. Who cares? A cop might pull up and be like, hey, you guys were trespassing. Oh, sorry, man. Then what? You're going to jail. You're going to jail for fishing. No, that's not happening. He'd be like, here's a $100 fine. I'd be like, okay, now I got to go home and figure out how to get $100. And I mean, that's whatever. In my head, that's worth that risk. I don't care. Let me tell you something. When I was younger, I did a lot of very, very, very stupid things. I'm talking, I mean, you couldn't even wrap your head around some of the stuff I was doing. Look, a prime example is this thing we had called roof riding. Roof riding is it's exactly what it sounds like. I would lay on the roof of my brother's car, I would hold the window frames, and he would speed. And he would try to throw me off the roof of his car. Is that a good idea in any capacity? No, obviously not. But I had the time of my life, all right, and it's a fun story. And is that a risk? Yeah, that's what they call high risk, low reward. To that I argue, who are you when there's nothing to do, right? Who are you when your back is against the wall? That's the way I would see these situations on top of this car. My brother is pinned throttle, foot to the floor at probably, I think the fastest he ever went was 92. And like, you got to understand, it's not like there's any safety net. I'm laying on the roof of a 92 Accord. There's nothing to catch me. The only thing holding me to that roof is my hands. So my hands get tired. Oh no, my hands are tired. I'm just gonna let go. No, if I let go, I die. If I let go, I'm on camera. I fly off the roof and I splat in the concrete and turn into a meat crayon. I held on that roof. Did it hurt? Yeah. Did I want to let go? Yeah. Did I do it? No. That's what I'm talking about. That's what people need in life. All right, I'm getting way off the initial topic of this video, but I don't give a frick because this is something I'm real passionate about, and I remember this clearly because it's like a light switch in my head that flipped. When I first started boxing, all right, I was in the gym, whatever. Coach points at me, you go fight that guy. I was like, coach, I don't think he just cut me off. Go fight him. Cool. I guess I'm ready, right? Whatever. I step up in that ring. Put my hands up, right? I start throwing a couple punches. Cool. I get socked by an overhand. I mean, absolute. I couldn't see anything. straight into my left eye. I mean, just smoked me. I stumbled back, my back was against the ropes, and I tucked up, and he just starts laying it on my body. I was like, oh my gosh, I'm dead. So I push him off, and I kind of square back up. I regain myself, and I see him. He smiles. I'm like, oh, sick, great. So whatever. We keep fighting, right? And the bell rings, right? So there's like a 30-second bell at that gym. There was, and I am so tired. I can barely keep my hands up. I'm getting punched in the face. I'm so tired, and I hear that 30-second bell, and I think, man, I just want to quit right now. That's what I want to do. All I want to do is step out of this boxing ring, and I want to sit down, and I want to get a drink of water. But could I do that? Yeah, I could. There's nothing stopping me. There's nothing stopping me. The only thing that was going on was the entire boxing gym, and everybody I knew there was watching. That was it. Everybody was surrounding the ring. All I had to do was drop down on one knee, and that's the fight. That's it. That's over. Did I do that? No, I didn't do that. You know what I did? I put my hands back up, and I threw punches. I ate punches, and I threw punches. And that's what it is. Listen, everybody in life needs a moment like that. I felt like I genuinely couldn't lift my hands up. I was so tired after like 3 rounds. I genuinely didn't think I had that in me. And what did I do? I remember my thought process so vividly. It was either I put my hands up or I get knocked out. That was what it was to me. Quitting was never an option. So in my head, either I lift my hands up and I be a man, or I get folded in front of my entire gym. What did I do? I bossed up. I picked my hands up, and I threw hands like that. That is what it is. Everybody needs that in their life. If you've never had a moment where your back is against the wall or ropes, whatever you want to call it, and you just have to do something, you have to make a decision. That if you've never had that, I highly recommend putting yourself in some nefarious spots and going through that. Find out who you are, because listen, this is something my dad told me. He said everybody's got a plan until they get punched in the face, right? You can sit there and you can plan for things all you want, but like I said earlier, until it goes downhill, hits the fan, whatever, now what? Where's that plan now? Yeah, there's no such thing. You act off of your intuition. Whatever you think is the best option, that's what you do. And if you've never been in a situation like that, you don't know. You don't know what you're gonna do, right? That is such a terrible thing. Now, if you're wondering how to like initiate this feeling, like don't just go fight some random jerk off. What I recommend doing is going on a hike. Now, I'm kind of getting into hiking now. I'm having some fun. I'm going out, get some cool pictures, cool experiences, whatever. And the thing about hikes, okay, is there's nothing out there. It's you, whoever you're with, and forest. That's it. So let me tell another story here. Me and my friend, we are, I don't know, about 3.5 hours from my house, okay? We had no sort of tent, sleeping bag, nothing, all right? And I'm going to blame it all on him because I think it's funny, but he's the reason we were late, all right? Whatever he says, false. He's the reason we're late. I know we stopped at Panera on the way. Doesn't matter. So anyway, we pull up to this hike at maybe 5 p.m. Okay. Pulling up to a hike at 5 p.m., you better hope it's a short hike, right? Because it's about to get dark. And we didn't have flashlights or anything. Extremely unprepared, but hey, that's what gets, being unprepared, that's kind of, you notice the theme. That's how you get put in these situations. So we're unprepared, show up at 5 p.m., climb up this mountain, it was super cool experience. It was super like, it wasn't really even foggy. It was like kind of mildly rainy out. It was raining kind of heavy. But we ended up hiking like into the clouds, and we were like on top of them on this rock. It was super cool, right? And we get to the peak of this mountain. We probably hiked for about 3 hours. Got up there probably about 8 p.m., right? And So now we had about 2.5 hours back down this mountain, and it's 8 p.m. The sun sets at 8:30, and we have no sort of flashlights, and it's pouring down rain. Here's where, so we look at each other like, all right, you know, tea time, right? This is when you lock in, all right? So started making our way down the mountain. We were hustling, and you know, something about going down a mountain when it's raining, slippery, and dark, and you're hungry, you're tired. We don't. It was like, I don't know, 7-mile hike. I don't know. It was crazy, and we like never hiked before that. So we just kind of like backflipped in the deep end. You know what I'm saying? That's how you learn how to swim. So whatever. We're coming back, and I mean, probably about maybe an hour from the car. Still hiking, of course, in the dark now. I sprained my ankle super bad. Like, it hurt like brick. So what did I do? I lifted my leg up. I shook my ankle a little bit just to kind of line it up. And then I stomped on the ground and put it back into place. Now, did that hurt? Yes. Oh my gosh, yes. Did it fix it? No, not really. But when I was walking, my ankle didn't feel loose. If you sprained your ankle and try to keep walking, you know, like every time you lift your foot, it kind of feels like your ankle wobbles a little bit, right? It doesn't feel like it's fully in place. So I stomped it back into place. And it hurt like frick, it really did. And I keep walking. About 30 minutes to the car, I sprained my other ankle. I'm like brick. So I'm cold, I'm wet, I'm hungry. Both my ankles are sprained. It's pitch black out. Both of our phones are about to die, and we're using flashlights to navigate back to the vehicle. We don't even know if we're on the right trail. It was insane. Like, it was actually like the scene, oh my gosh, it was all ballistic. But right there in that moment, what am I gonna do? Am I gonna sit down? What am I gonna rest? What am I waiting for? It's only getting darker. You know what I'm saying? I don't have the ability, I don't have the pleasure or the blessing or whatever, I don't know what the frick the word is, to sit down and rest. I don't have that option. That's not something that I can do, because I need as much light as possible in the sky, so I don't need a flashlight. So I trekked on. That's what I did. I can't wait. I can't have him pick me up and carry me. I'm a grown frickin' man. That's not gonna happen. Also, it's not like he's doing blissful either. He had his own issues. He was wearing freaking Crocs or something. I don't know. His feet were all blistered up. It's like there was only one thing to do in that situation. There was one thing. I was 3.5 hours from. There was one thing I could do, and what was that thing? It was walk. It hurt. It hurt real bad. The whole time I'm like, and I'm hustling. That's what it was. That's what I had to do. And listen. I mean, it's so beneficial to put yourself in these situations and see how you respond. It's vital. It really is. So I encourage you, you know, if you have an idea, don't wait for the perfect time to do it, right? The perfect time will never come. You'll die with a full mag. Go out there, do it, and see what happens. If it all goes terrible and it all goes down the drain, then figure it the frick out and climb your way back up out of that drain. That's it. That's life. That's the way the world spins. Now, really quick, I want to touch on one thing, and that thing is fear, okay? I enjoy saying I fear no man. I might have made a video on here talking about what do you fear. I don't really know. But if I haven't, I guess I should. That might be my next one. But really quick, I just want to touch on it. So there's obviously fear that's a natural thing. That's natural, you know, human. I don't know if you call it emotion or feeling or whatever. That's something that happens. And really the only way to conquer a fear is to face it head on. All right, that's like, you've probably heard a therapist or something say that, because it's true. And that's kind of, I think that should be the approach to all of life. Just head on. Just freaking, you know, you don't want to study? Head on. Just go study. Just freaking start doing it. See how you feel. See what happens, you know? But the same thing with fear, right? If you're like, you're scared of snakes. All right, let's just say you're scared of snakes. And one day there's a snake in your backyard. And you're like, and it's kind of going close to your little Yorkshire, your little poodle, whatever the frick. And you're like, well, I'm going to kill this snake. And you pick up a shovel and you smoke the snake with it, and you cut its head off. Are you still gonna be scared of snakes? Probably freaking not. You're gonna see this decapitated little worm on the ground. You're gonna be like, yeah, well, you know what? That's really not that scary. That's really not. So it's like the same thing with that anything, right? Let's just say you're scared to learn how to play guitar, and it seems kind of hard. Well, I've got an idea for you. Just freaking pick up a guitar and just start freaking playing and see what happens, right? Now, I suck at guitar. You could probably hear it. I suck. I don't care. I just, you know what I did? I wasn't scared to fail. Oh, that's what it was. I think it was the fear of failure. I feel like I did a video on that. I literally cannot remember. But anyway, don't fear anything. Just freaking headbutt it and see what happens. You know, and I think that's the kind of the form of my life advice is a little odd when you really kind of look at it, because that's kind of, if somebody asks me for advice on anything, I say just do it. Whatever you want to do it and see what happens. And I mean, that's really all you have. And the reason I say it is because if you have an idea, right, and you're trying to convince yourself out of it, I mean, just do it at that point. If you're trying to convince yourself not to do something, it's better to just do it. But let's say I have an idea, right? Let's say, frick, I don't want to keep using cars, but let's say there's this bolt that won't come out, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe I can try a drill. Maybe I can try to drill it out. So I try to drill it out, and it doesn't work. That's fine. Why didn't it work? I think, why didn't it work? Maybe because the positioning it's in, right? It just wasn't meant to be drilled out. Let's just say theoretically you can't drill bolts that are horizontal. Excuse me. Sorry, I had a Coca-Cola. It's freaking beautiful. Shout out Coke for sponsoring the video. But let's say the bolt's horizontal. Can't drill it out for some reason. I don't know. I'm making that up. But now I know that I can't because it's horizontal, and I've learned something. So next time I need to make a decision like that. Now I've got more information to go off of to make a decision. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. I think that I'm gonna probably call this video here. It's the thing about these videos, they're always quite a rant. I'm actually currently pacing around the room. I thought about getting a camera and doing this video, but then I thought, yeah, you know what, there's no point, because I'm just gonna walk around my room because I get excited. So yeah, whatever. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you apply something I've said, right? You know, filming these videos for me is sometimes it's a little difficult because I always want to do better than the last video, if that makes sense. I always want a better video than the last, but I really can't do that. I like, that's really, a lot of the topics I've already covered are kind of like things that I'm more passionate about. So now I'm just trying to find something to talk about, and I don't have as much to say about it, you know, whatever. So the video just isn't as good, and it makes me not want to film these videos. But I was like, today, I was like, whatever, dude, frick it. I'm just going to film it and see what happens. And that's what I did. So I encourage you to do the same and just see where it gets you, you know? I mean, is it good life advice? I don't know. Well, one thing I've always said, I might make a video on this as well. Only take life advice from people you want to be like. All right, don't let some bum tell you what to do. So I don't know if you want to be like me or not. Probably not. But if you do, take my advice. If not, whatever the frick, you know what I'm saying? So, hope everybody's watching this has a great rest of their day. Feel free to leave a comment, say whatever the frick you want. I'll probably reply to it. I definitely will reply to it. There's not going to be that many, which is fine. You know what? I love all the comments of people telling me that I'm their new favorite YouTuber and that the video helped them. That means the world to me. That's all I want is to help, you know, a person or two. That's fine. That's fine with me, you know? So, if this video helped, leave a comment, let me know. Yeah, you know? I think that's about it for this video here, so feel free to like and subscribe, whatever the frick you want to do. Don't dislike it though. You know what? Doesn't show dislikes anymore. After what, didn't they take the dislike thing off after was it after a rewind video? Oh man, YouTube rewind was so funny. Oh my gosh. Oh, I missed that. Was it after that? I don't know. Maybe. I might be remembering that wrong. I don't know. Super funny. But yeah, have a great day, everybody. See you in the next one.